No. Well. Okay, so,
Just a second. Okay, we're good now.
okay, we're going to resume. Thank you, everyone, that we had a nice little break to recharge. And now we're moving to, so,
Okay.
to reserves.
Yep. So this is, we've separated contributions to reserves from the capital budget now so that it's a more clear delineation between the two. So there's a number of contributions to reserve that are recommended by staff. Well, I just started in the municipal office ones.
Yep.
So the Point Edward Library isn't really the municipal office, but I'm leading that project, so that's why it's on this department. And what it is, I meet with the county once a year to go over how things are going at the library. And they are interested, they'd like to bring in a consultant to evaluate if they could do anything to make the facility more accessible. So they're proposing a cost sharing program between the village and the county. Based on what they've done at some other buildings, they figure to have this architect consultant in cost about $50,000. So that's, I put this $25,000 in for our share of a 50-50 split on the consultant to assess accessibility and what might be able to be done.
What's your left?
That may
Well,
be
that's-
ended.
I mean, I don't know how else, it's 3 levels, how else
Yeah.
can you do it? But anyway,
Well, my concern with this is we're gonna spend $50,000 to tell us that there's not much we can do, because if we put an elevator in there, the amount of floor space that will
Yeah.
take up in a building that's already challenged for floor space is a problem. There's no way to put ramps in between floors.
There's a ramp into the basement.
Yeah,
In the lower level.
right,
but I was
yeah,
thinking like.
yeah, from
the chair,
the side.
the chair to go up to the next level, but
But to spend $50,000 to get a chairlift, are we over engineering or over thinking of spending $50,000? Is my concern.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I struggle to see what other options there might be, but, yeah. And that's, I think it is pointing out a concern though, that that building is not very accessible at all.
but we all know that.
Yeah,
Now, that
Yeah.
came out in a report a couple
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah, and
It's
when,
not AODA.
yeah, and I went, well, it is what it is, because we didn't have money to go out and build a new library.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm thinking. Before we spend 50,000 on a consultant to tell us we need to spend 300,000 on an
Yeah.
elevator, maybe we would be better spending of our money to find a new location for the library, like a single floor, like much like this building right here. This would make a perfect library as far as access and space and all that stuff. Just there's people in it, but I mean something similar to this within the village,
Right,
rather than spending, like I say, 400 grand on an elevator.
And at my church, Presbyterian Church, they put all this money into the lift. Half the time on Sunday, it's broken down.
Yeah,
It has been,
Concerns
yeah,
too, that wouldn't solve.
no,
right.
So that's only a
Yeah,
Band-Aid for
yeah.
some
Yeah.
accessibility issue.
you'd be better to put the money away in a fund for some long-term development.
And I saw in your note, the county hasn't yet approved this as
No.
part of their 2026, so they may not even approve it, but
and in that case, nothing would happen. It would just go towards a surplus at the end of the year, but
So what if we decided to defer it until we see what they do with their budget, and then we can add that into?
I would say if we defer it, it's most likely that they're gonna defer it as well, I would think. That's when we talked about it. That's what was
so
said.
what you're sensing, if we're not gonna kick in our 25, they're not gonna.
I don't think so.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
sure they wouldn't.
so what do we wanna, do we
I-
wanna,
I just don't think it's money well spent.
yeah, I agree, I'd like to remove it and let the county know
We
that
know
we
the
don't.
problem bigger
Yeah.
than this,
Yeah,
what the ultimate fix is,
yeah, we don't need a $50,000 consultant to tell us,
what we know already.
yeah,
Yeah,
Okay. Then the next one is the 2026 election. We put $10,000 a year into a reserve. And then when we go to the operating budget, you'll see a $37,000 withdrawal from the reserve because we've spent about 3,000 on different things over the last 3 years
Mhm.
that are election related expenses. So that's an annual contribution to reserve. Okay, 150th anniversary is an additional 25, so I think this put us at 75 or 100, I believe.
75 at the end. I don't know if it's there yet.
I think this would put us
Was it? Okay,
Yep.
at 75.
I think our goal is to get to 100.
okay, I thought I looked at 75, but
125.
120.
This will put us at
Oh,
No,
125.
that's the goal.
Okay.
So my
28th, right?
what have we done so far?
Not a whole lot. There's been some discussions, I would say, take place. There's been no planning or anything like that.
Have last we talked, we're gonna get a committee started? Is
yeah.
that
Yeah.
kicked off yet or no?
No,
And the reason I say it, we're 2 years out,
Yeah.
right?
it'll be here.
It'll be here fast, we know it, like, cause I assume 2 years from now, we'll be planning for some New Year's Day sort of thing. And
just a thought while I was thinking about it. Joe from the bridge said that they would probably allow a bridge walk
oh,
for our anniversary celebration. They said that a while ago.
Yeah.
Cause they stopped doing the bridge race. He said we could probably do a day, like an event. If people want to do a bridge crossing.
Do we have an official day where we know the paperwork was signed back in 1878? That was it in June? I always was under the impression it was June, but I've never seen an actual documentation. That would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
And if we could nail something close to that and start booking. The only thing with the end of June, as I know, you get into the grade 8 graduation at the school and a few other things that happen then, and people getting away and the Canada Day stuff. So it'd be nice to get ahead of some of that and maybe just nail down.
Mhm.
Because I know for the centennial in 78, there was a parade, there was things all
With
over.
bed races.
Yeah, it was a huge celebration in the village.
Yeah, it was a lot of
And I
stuff.
know it was at the end, we were still in school
It
because
was
they did
summer.
stuff at Bridgeview School, but it was in June.
Yeah, June. I just remember it
And-
was more about.
I know if we could kind of nail something down, I like what some of the other municipalities have done in our area where it's kind of been a year-long celebration. But I know if it was, if we could nail down something in June of, 28th to say, hey, this is what we're shooting for, and just so no one else books something else.
So Petrolia, sorry, Petrolia had the luxury of having a theater. So they did a lot of their stuff through that, through that venue.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, and I know Watford did their 150th, I think,
I went to the dinner.
last year as well, and they did it at their
the
hall
new
and
hall,
the new building that they have there attached to
Yeah.
the arena. And but I know they did it in the summertime. They didn't go as long as what Petrolia did with multiple events.
Yeah, I went to the dinner, but I can't remember what time of year it was.
so we were incorporated on June 26th, 1878.
That's why I thought it was June. Yeah, okay. So if we could, maybe hit somewhere along there. June 26th of 2028 is a Monday.
And should we look at approaching Mark Perrin, whether we can do another bridge bash under the bridge? Like, remember the one?
So, okay,
Yeah.
sorry, I don't mean to, but can we just deal
Yeah.
with the budget?
Yeah.
today?
Yes,
yeah.
Please, I don't mean to cut off,
Yeah.
because it is vitally important discussion to have at some point.
Yeah.
But today's
No, I
not the
agree,
day.
yeah.
I'm sorry, but
Oh, that's good.
just keep us focused on,
Okay, so 150th, we'll have 125 at the end of. Okay.
Yeah.
What's it, ERP system replacement?
that's the financial
Payroll.
software. We put
Yeah.
aside 100,000 last year. And the anticipated cost is in 200,000 range, so.
Provision for reserves is 375.
So that's 375 goes into the emergency reserve or contingency reserve,
Yeah,
and then we're pulling 155 back out.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's the casino
yes, that's,
money, yeah.
We're not using it. That's fantastic. We're not using it. Full well. We've been striving to get there many years.
okay, so we'll invite Mike up for the operations stuff. Item 1 is the arena aging infrastructure, $100,000.
So again, as I had mentioned previously, after attending the Aging Infrastructure Conference and speaking to a number of people in my very similar role across the province. And just having very frank discussions about their specific infrastructure. Some are quite a bit younger than ours, only a few are older than ours. The idea was that most municipalities have started a reserve fund to help support any critical failures, be it a compressor, be it some of the large motors and pumps that supply the cooling, the supply the cooling system, or in the case of the Galveston, where the floor is being replaced this year, the White cost. It's the idea would be just to start a reserve fund to be able to help capture any of those capital costs that we might be running into, but stop any critical issue, or at least be able to support a critical issue as it falls in place.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's grant money for Galveston. Some of that's gonna be covered by grant money.
I believe so. I'm
Not
not.
something to that effect.
Yes, I believe so. I'll actually, when they start doing the project, I'm gonna go and speak to them and witness what's going on, talk to some of the contractors that are there. To have a little bit more of an understanding of it from the on ground, but yes, I do believe there's some
Yeah.
funding. The funding is becoming harder to come by according to the conference that we were at. It's very difficult to find specific funding for arenas. But if it's a playground related, or if it's something that's related to community centers or something along those lines, it's a little bit easier to be able to manage.
Okay, all good on that? The
What to do.
ice resurfacer we've already discussed, and we're moving 40 grand in. Heavy truck replacement, 25,000. That's just to continue to build up the reserve for a new truck.
That's fair.
Is that sufficient? Is that like,
The infrastructure itself, the two trucks that are currently there are in good condition, and I believe by adding the smaller values over a longer time frame, we'll be able to support the infrastructure once we do need it down the road. So
Okay.
we do have some time.
Waterfront Park Playground? This was another 2028 legacy project idea.
So there is currently in the budget, we have 633,000. The idea is to add enough money so that we get directly to a total amount just over $1 million in the next couple of years to be able to support legacy projects down there. I know the project initially was based on the reserve was based on looking at that playground facility itself. And speaking with CAO and some other municipalities, I would like to entertain the option of maybe taking some of that money to work throughout the entire area down there, work on the hatchery, potentially looking at some paint or looking at some murals down in that space, replacing what's necessary around the playground, but potentially not replacing all of the equipment. What's necessary in updating what is there is along with the ground, but then again, resurfacing in the front, doing some more work on the benches, just overall beautification of that space.
Include the washrooms too?
If we can certainly put that in there, I will do all my best effort to utilize the funding as best we can.
And our neighbors went with a different company for all of their playground equipment recently. They said they found better pricing. I know Ape is here in town, but we're operating off only one quote and one design, so it might be time to look at some more options.
That is correct. It's when we had the replacement of that one unit that we had down at the park, outside of the extreme timeline that we ran into, the pricing was less than.
With the company that Sarnia used?
So there are other options that are more affordable. And so it's something that was one of the reasons I wanted to look at that as
Do you have to put in a new swing?
it was a slide. Is that service?
Oh, the slide, sorry,
The slide.
the slide up.
So you'll come back to us with a full like proposal?
The idea is that I'm hoping to gather as much information and then come back with some options.
And now, yep. Okay, any questions, changes, revisions, alterations?
That money, right?
Yes.
Okay. The next item on that list is the fire department reserve for the engine truck, and that's just a straightforward completion of the 1.2 million. Chief, is the 1.2 million, that's Canadian funds, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And so it's not subject to change, it'll be.
Well, there's a tariff, yeah.
Okay.
No one has said anything yet, but we're hoping that's all gonna settle by the time we get the truck.
Okay,
Greg, you went past the heavy truck.
No,
no, we did that,
talk about it.
Oh, okay, sorry.
no problem. That's why I asked if he thinks it's sufficient, he said, yeah,
Right,
he's okay
okay,
with
sorry.
small amounts, that's all right,
Sorry, yep. That was 2 minutes ago.
yeah. I've drifted off twice earlier, so. Any questions on the fire truck then, anybody? No, okay. But have you had a progress update lately on that, or are there,
Yeah, they said it's on the line.
okay,
It's a long,
It's a long,
long.
yeah.
it's from here to Florida.
We'll put them on, and they just said it's on the line. It's in the schedule and hoping to have it at the beginning of 27 will be here.
I can't get over that business. If we're that busy, why wouldn't they put a second line in, like, or something? They could be churning out
Like
fire
I say,
trucks.
15 years ago, you were like a year and a half, you'd have a truck. Now,
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's so many being put, you get like being built, it's unbelievable.
Okay, thank you for that. Environmental services reserves. Everything has been deferred. Did you want to speak to that, Jay, or are you okay with all these deferrals?
Basically, I was told we're gonna refer it and add it to next year's budget, so I would agree with it, but. It is what it is. If there's issues, I guess, we'll. Look at them.
If you want to state your case, you're
Yeah.
welcome to, like,
Well, yeah, I know.
okay. Is that okay with everybody here?
yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
appropriate.
Yeah.
So. The discharge pipe repairs. That's a project that we've been discussing in the past. So both stations have leaks in the discharge pipes, both at Bayview and Alexandra. So we wanted to start building a reserve up for the future expenses. It's going to be a very significant cost. One's an 84-inch pipe, one's a 72-inch pipe. There's no access to get to these pipes. So it's gonna be a lot of manufacturing below grade. It's gonna be a very significant cost. There's gonna be a good part of engineering and that involved in that.
And where are these located and where do they discharge?
One of them's at the Alexandria Pump Station at the plant.
Okay,
And it discharges down at under the bridge.
okay.
Um,
So it runs from the plant to under the
it
bridge.
leaves from the plant down Alexandria. And then goes fairly close to the monument
Mhm.
at the waterfront. And then there's a big concrete pipe that you can see that goes
Yep.
down into the river.
Yep.
So that's the one. The other one at Bayview is at the Bayview pump station.
Yep.
It's in the ground. So it's the pipe the header pipe that ties into the high density poly pipe that we had to fix a few years ago. It's leaking as well. There's pinholes. There's the one at Bayview's 60 years old. The one at the plant's approximately 30 some years.
And does Bayview discharge to the bay or to the,
Yes,
slip.
it goes out next to the elevators at there's a gravel driveway
okay,
facing the elevators. It
Yep.
goes out there.
okay,
So these are both pipes in the stations on the sub levels that the pumps actually pump into and then go out into head out to the discharge.
Okay.
So it is something that's coming. There was when I started 10 years ago, there was a repair. It already started. It was in the process of being done when I started. Basically that helped. It gave us giving us 10 years or a little bit, but it is coming. So within the next 5 to 10 years, we're gonna see a very significant cost for that.
when you say very significant,
probably in the millions.
Okay,
So it's, again, when they built those stations, they're poured concrete structures. So you have an 84-inch pipe in Bayview, but no way of getting the pipe, a new pipe in or out. So it's gonna be a significant, challenge to try to rebuild all this down in a confined space. So. So, yeah, my idea was to start building something, at least get some engineering and that in place. But,
any possibility of being grant eligible for anything? Is there any?
there is a possibility of applying for grants. We have not been successful getting grants in the past, so. Possibly to have some money and have some engineering work done. And have some actual information to apply for it, yeah, it might help. But, that's the reason I've been asking
Okay.
this. I believe we put money away last year as well. Maybe it was 75,000 or 70,000 last year.
In terms of getting grants from the research that we've been doing, grants are becoming more eligible if you have shovel-ready documentation. And have there's been some investment made by the municipality prior to that, so that's, I think, further helps Jay's discussion about. There are infrastructure grants that are supposed to be coming available now, but again, nobody will look at anything unless there's some shovel-ready information.
The wet well cleaning, so both for the wet well cleaning reserve and the Bayview well cleaning. That's the 5,000 that we've been doing in that multiple years, and every 3 years we clean them out. Bayview was done just last week. They finished up doing the job on Friday. There's more debris in it this time than previously. I'm pretty sure that 3 years from now, when we go back in, it won't be a $15,000 expenditure. We're probably looking more at 25 to 30. Try to keep up with the cleaning of those wells. So, and by doing the cleaning, we're saving the actual wear and tear on the pumps, all that abrasive material, wears the pumps out faster. So by not doing this every 3 years, it's just gonna cost a little bit more money further down the pump. Again, it's only $5,000. Well, you don't know what their situation will be going forward, so I'm fine with leaving those two out, with the understanding that we'll have to play catch up on those.
You're okay with leaving the 50 and the 5 out?
The two, so the 5,000 for wet well.
Oh, okay,
reserve,
and Bayview well,
and the Bayview well
okay.
cleaning.
Okay,
The Bayview electrical, this is something we've discussed in the past as well. The electrical, the MCC panels in the Bayview station. They're 60 years old.
yeah, we've discussed it quite a bit.
There's some safety issues, the electricians that we use, they've done some temporary modifications to fix some of those issues with openings that people can actually stick material hands or whatever and end up being electrocuted. That's all been taken care of. There is a plan to upgrade that and replace a lot of the existing, and we're gonna go with disconnects on the wall, simplify it quite a bit. There's also a lot of old wiring, that's gonna be, there are no drawings for it. A lot of it goes into the wet well. A lot of that we're hoping will be able to remove it after the diesels go in, because a lot of it is tied to the old diesel system, and there's been changes over the years, so nobody knows which wires go where, and the hope is that when they do the new install, the electricians will be able to pull a bunch of that out, but the panels do need to be, the MCC panel needs to be replaced eventually. This was to slowly build up for maybe 3 years, 4 or 5 years down the road to actually be able to do that work. again. We can defer it, the only problem with that being is, if it gets deferred multiple years, then. You know, the next time is gonna be a significant amount that we have to add to. The stormwater infrastructure, so last year, when we discussed this at our committee level meeting. So I requested that $100,000 start being put in the reserve for future work in the storage system. It was taken out of the before budget day. So we've already deferred it once. Now I'm asking for it a second time. It's gonna get deferred again, so we're already $200,000 from building up that reserve. Now that being said, there are discussions coming further down today that will help. You know, mitigate taking that out and putting it in from a different revenue source, so. Depending on how things go further on in the meeting, it may or may not be relevant.
And what would that cover? Or what's the repairs that you want to do with that 100,000?
This is just general future upgrades, so lining, like once we start doing this camera work. If we need additional lining, if we need to do additional, or do pipe repairs or replacements, catch basin replacements. Even pumps, you know, if we do these pump analysis and get the data and it shows that we need to rebuild these pumps or replace these pumps in 2 or 5 years, we'd have the money started to be built up to pay for those expenditures. There's like as far as infrastructure goes, was just all of our system is 60+ years old. There's all kinds of expenditures that could come up. The prime example was when the high definition, high density poly pipe elbow local inside of the easy pump station. That was about $140,000 repair. So that was pre-COVID. So today it would probably be triple that. So it's just to have some money, and that being said, we've had that discussion that it's gonna be put in. It's not that money, council can redirect that money if needed. But it's to earmark it for specific future projects that are needed in the storm system. And just start having that money set aside.
Yeah, I have a
Go
question.
ahead, Tim.
The Michigan Ave storm fix.
Yeah.
When we had to do that. We did it in unison with the Livingston bulb out man.
Yeah.
What was the cost of that? Estimate if you don't know.
Off the top of my head,
80 to 100, like the bulb out, I think would be about 40.
I think it was. I was gonna say 140-ish, maybe a bit higher, I thought.
Okay.
I was thinking the whole thing was 140 and then, but
Could be that.
But we're talking significant money. Yes.
Yeah.
Like $100,000 goes in.
Yeah.
One fix, if not more than that. Okay.
I guess the only thing with the deferral is this is coming out of the village of, any of these projects come out of the village of Pine Edward reserves, not the wastewater reserves. And what did you tell us, Jane, in your intro that we have in reserves right now? 6 million?
1.87 or something.
Yeah. So I just wonder if we need to be adding this on this year into reserve, when we already have 5.8 sitting there that it could be allocated right to these projects. Does that make sense or no make sense?
you can never have too many reserves.
I agree.
And it's
That's part of my theme earlier.
like, yeah, it's kind of that idea is do you want a whole bunch of specific reserves or do you want a couple of large reserves?
Yeah.
It's large general.
The reserve is a whole there. We put the reserve breakdown too many pieces. We are not able to use to, fund a large project because that's, commitment has been made for these small pieces. So infrastructure, I will call to support infrastructure based on a high level category as for road, as for arena, as for storm. So that is up to council's direction, what we want to take.
Comments? Nobody? Mary Ann?
So you just said, Greg, you said, sorry, Deputy Mayor Grimes, you said it's 5.8 million, so you're saying forego putting more into these little reserves
Right,
and you would utilize the larger reserve should something happen. Is that?
that's
Well.
the thought,
that's the thought?
or for consideration.
It's in total.
Yeah, that's everything.
Oh,
That's,
it's everything.
that's the
Yeah.
fire, that's the fire truck still in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's not environmental.
no,
Contingency or from contingency or from, you know, something with the other projects and this one.
So perhaps it's not a bad idea to set up a stormwater reserve
Yeah.
right.
and not have,
all these
5 of them.
pieces.
right?
Yeah.
Like just have one stormwater reserve.
Yeah,
And then next year, when Jay brings forward his stormwater budget, he can say, you know, I would like to take out 10,000 to clean my wet wells.
yeah,
Of the overall big reserve.
Yeah, rather than
Rather
have
having,
5 different
Yeah,
things to
7 or
track.
9.
yeah. I like that approach.
So Jay's requesting $180,000 going to the stormwater reserves. And it's all been deferred, so it's not part of our current budget.
Mhm.
This would be about a 6% tax hit if we were to move it.
Yep.
Over.
So
Go ahead.
So we've got, we've made cuts to the capital budget of 135,909. That's assuming we put the $15,000 into the generator
Yeah,
reserve.
yeah.
Would put us at, we'd have 135,909. Is that what you have, Gene? That we've cut $135,909 from the capital budget.
Even though we,
Right.
even though we,
Yeah, we cut.
Yeah.
We cut 85,000. Well, okay, we cut 100,000 for the truck, 28,909 for the lighting,
That's right.
$25,000 to the reserves for the library thing. And then I'm assuming we're adding 15 back in for the generator at the fire station.
what about the public works truck that we cut?
It wasn't funded,
Oh, okay.
right?
Okay,
They were
It
getting-
was unfunded.
okay,
Yeah, sorry.
okay. So
So there's 135,909 that,
they were favorable right now.
yeah.
Just a question, with the electrical upgrades at Bayview, I guess I'm not sure what is remaining, or going to be remaining in after the lighting project for the low water dividend. It is an electrical problem or a project, we could possibly in a few years look at using that as well.
And how much is that entire project?
I don't have an exact rate, it's so far out, there's no.
Is it
It's
50
gonna
or if
be at least a couple $100,000, if not more,
it was at 20, I was gonna say, go ahead.
but. Like I said, I'm not sure what's there for dividends and
Yep.
and how much we bring in roughly every year.
So the 136,091, that's 24 and 25's dividend, or is it 25 and 26?
That's the current remaining balance.
Okay, that's what we anticipate at the end of this year.
That's right.
And we bring in about 60 or 65,000 a year.
So the question posed to us, is there any interest from taking some of our favorable balance and moving it into a stormwater reserve? Now, a portion of this 130, anybody,
I think that's a pretty good idea.
how much?
Well, what do we have available?
Well, so the capital budget that we had presented was a balanced budget, right? And now we've cut 135,909 out of it.
So he can have 135.
If there's nothing else you want to do with it.
Yeah, I know.
I was hoping we could hold some back and either throw it into other reserves or use it to reduce the tax increase
You-
by moving it like somehow, like 75,000.
Give him 100, and they're still over 30. 32 is 1%.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
You could do 100 to the reserve, 32 knocks down the tax rate.
Or we hold to see where we go.
Yeah.
We still have a lot to
Yeah,
talk
we still
about.
have a lot, that's right.
So yeah, we can just keep that capital piece in the back of your minds that we're between capital and reserves, we're looking at 135,909 to do something with. Whether it all just go into a general reserve or a couple of specific reserves or buying down the tax rate, which I mean, like you say, we went from 375 to 155. Because that's basically what you would do is increase the transfer over, right, from 155 to something
Right,
else.
we don't want to go that way.
And we don't want to,
We did it
but I
last
understand
year.
what
Yeah.
you're,
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from.
Well, even
So,
if you went
do it.
ahead,
Do we want to
Still-
decide on this now, or do we want?
Why are we waiting? Wait till the end?
Say we wait,
Okay, so you'll make a note of that, Jim?
Yep.
we have another storm reserve.
So this is,
coming up.
that 135 number is assuming we've put $15,000 into an additional 15 into the reserve for the generator at the fire hall. There's an existing reserve. And we want to put another 15,000 into it.
my body overall.
So Jim has asked us, that we go back to the fire reserve and add 15,000 for the generator.
No, but the thing is, if there's a request for additional reserve spread, but I don't have a form, I didn't see, the reason for this one.
So we can add, if we can do a form, if we need to do that, we can do that after the fact, but just for figuring now, we can. Yeah, we can come up with a form after the meeting and make that straightened around.
So, thank you, Jay. We haven't made a decision, but there's an appetite for creating $100,000, and we'll wait and see how the rest of the budget goes before we move any of that money. Any other questions on capital reserve before we move forward? Seeing none, we will move into operating. And guess who gets to come back up to the hot seat? Yeah. So I think everyone on council's up to speed on the proposal before us with the stormwater budget.
So just for council's information. There's a revenue shown of 183,660. That's that new $5 to $200 per month fee would generate the 183,660. There was some information circulated about what different, if we went to I think it was $7 and $10 instead of $5 and what that would generate. But this 183 is offset. The 183 in revenue is offset by the storm new FTE of 126,750. There is a fee of about $20,000 to Blue Water Power. Correct? It was $20,000. The fee to Blue Water Power to set up. And we're just guessing on that. We don't know what their charge would be, but we put $20,000 to to sit down with them and go through and setting up the additional fee to people's bills. And then there's about a $48,000 or $46,000 contribution to a new 48.
48, it was $40,000.
So that's where those are the 4 new lines for that budget. The 1 revenue and the 3 expense lines. The one question I had about that, Jane, is we've increased the transfer from Federal Bridge Corporation by 11,000. That goes away though if we choose not to implement this plan? $11,000 increase from Blue Water Bridge is based on their portion of that employee cost rate. So we would lose that revenue as well.
While you're on that topic, is there not a cap to how much the bridge will pay us? Is it,
The agreement is 18% of the costs of operating that facility.
okay, in regardless of how, what we do or how we.
Yeah, we've not, in
no
the past, we
pushback
send them
to
the bill and
How
and they
we
pay.
used it.
Okay,
And I would say if anything, we've probably been a little bit light on them. Like, do we charge any wages back to them at all? A little bit. We charge about 4,500, right? Yeah.
Compared to what's actually put into the system, no.
okay, so. To work our way through this, Jay, do you want to just give us a layman's term explanation of QMS and what it is and how it affects day to day the village? Can you do that?
Yeah, so the QMS, it's quality management system, it's essentially an ISO for water and wastewater. The DWQS is just drinking water quality unit. It's regulated through the ministry. We have to have a QMS operational plan. In that plan, we lay out pretty much everything from how we staff, how we handle emergencies, anything that we say or do in that plan. That we say we're gonna do in this plan, we have to do it. Every year it's audited. And in order to have our accreditation from the ministry to be an operating authority and operate a water system, we have to be accredited. So if we were to lose our accreditation, essentially the village would no longer be able to operate its water system. In the whole operational plan, there's three years of audits. So you have 2 surveillance audits and then you have a reaccreditation one. Last year was a reaccreditation one. We did get a non-conformance. If you don't correct that non-conformance, we'll end up with 2 non-conformances. The one's pending the resolution that we've submitted for the RIFA one. We have an audit in January, at the end of January. If we end up with both non-conformances, there's a potential we could lose our accreditation. That would be worst case. They may give us time to revisit that, but they accept the opinions and the responses that were given in the corrective action response back in early 25. We've had basically almost like a year to work on coming up with this. So it is an ISO standard basically for our water system is the easiest way to put it. And if we say we're gonna do things, we have to do them. And the ministry laid out the groundwork for 21 different elements that we have to have a plan and a procedure for each one of those. Staffing as well, emergency hazards, and we have a list of emergency hazards and potential hazards. So we have to have, our basically our current procedures to mitigate those if they happen, and then we have to have SOPs and contingency plans in place to ensure all that happens.
And how new is this to your operations, this QMS? Like, how long has it been?
It's been around. Sure, it was after.
Since Walkerton?
After Walkerton.
Okay.
They implemented all this. Over the years, we've made multiple changes to it, and every year, a couple of years, there's always continually change to it. And one of the biggest parts of it is having continual improvement, which means they want to keep improving how it works and how we handle the plan itself. So every year we have to show that we're continually improving how we operate the system and the plan, and then we have all the necessary resources available to safely operate the systems.
Questions? Thanks. That was helpful as far as us knowing where we're at. So questions?
I've got
Councilor
some
Munder?
further information on this. And may shock a few people. If you've taken the standard of care training which all counselors are mandated to take. You would have learned that council is the owner of the water system. It's not Jay, we're the owner, we're responsible. So, and we have to ensure that it meets the standards, we've got qualified people, sampling and all that stuff that we do. The enforcement of this, if there's an issue, we're personally liable as counselors. So that's, when you just let that sink in. Possible jail, penalties, they can fine up to $4 million. So as the owner of the system, we're ultimately responsible on what happens in the village for water. And we have a responsibility to our residents, right? So this is pretty serious stuff that if we don't keep up the standard of care, and this was all driven by Waterton, right? Because when this happened there, they let the ball slide, and because now this is what we're up against. We have to follow these guidelines. And as I said, there's training that we need to take, we have to take. And it's very serious. So I personally don't want somebody knocking on my door, with bringing this up as possible legal action or whatever, but that's where we stand as a council. So I'm just, highlighting that this is, we're personally liable as councilors. So anyways, just to let you know, this is quite serious.
The deficiency, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was identified in the audit, that was just administrative deficiency, right?
It was administrative, yeah, and then with the administrative part of it, it's also where item 1, so the whole quality management system. If we don't, basically, if we don't have a resolution to try to make sure that we don't have these shortages and these shortcomings in the system, implementing the system, then we would actually have a non-conformance for a quality management system, which it's very possible that we can lose our accreditation.
And do you have a like a breakdown of who's responsible for which tasks, like the administrative tasks and the qualities, all like item by item?
The majority of it is on myself to try it on. I'm the manager plus the QMS rep. Some of the information that was passed on to council earlier, there were some information pieces in that about where it suggested that, you should have multiple people responsible for it. It should not be on one person. For myself, I have, all the wastewater, all the water, stormwater, all the management duties, capital projects, everything, plus the QMS. In the information that I provided, I've stated that the majority of municipalities, just the QMS rep position is a full-time position for one person. An example, Sarnia would have about 5 people doing what I'm doing right now. So the workload is spread out. Jennifer helps with a bunch of the administration. In our operational plan, we have our village structure. So Jim's listed as top management, Sal's top management. Jen's in as the clerk, and then in my absence, Jennifer will basically try to come into my role. Unfortunately, she doesn't have the time, the experience to spend in the QMS to learn the whole position. As I said, it's basically a full-time job, just doing QMS. When I had to go off a year ago for a medical issue, there was issues that got identified that there is nobody else at a level or even anywhere near the level to take the positions on when it's both QMS and managerial at the same time. plus I help with operations. So we basically identified through the audit, through a health issue, through staff shortages with leaves. We do have staffing issues and shortfalls to ensure that we always have reliable coverage for all these positions.
Do we have a breakdown of tasks that we do have people who can take over and the ones that we don't?
No, so the operators are responsible to be aware of it, and they take part in, ensuring that the forms. So when they're doing like a water main commissioning, there's forms for that. If there's SOPs that have forms attached, their responsibilities are to know there are forms, there's where they're located, they have to fill them out. All the administration then, goes back on to one person trying to do it. Operations staff don't have time to be operating and taking care of an operational plan. The plan gets constant upgrading with, quarterly meetings, we have management reviews, we have, multiple meetings throughout the year. The operational staff, there is no identified role, and I don't have the time to take them from their day-to-day duties and put them into this kind of a role to try to help out. It's just not. It's not feasible to do that without lessening the standard or the level of service that we're providing to village residents.
I understand. The reason that I asked for specifics is so that if we're going to consider, excuse me, if we're going to consider bringing on a new role, we would need to know exactly what it is that they would be covering, or what their day-to-day tasks would look like, what exactly would we be looking for in that role.
So, in the document I provided, I had a breakdown of the new position that I'm hoping to create is more of an operator millwright position. So that would be somebody that would come in as an operator that also has a red seal license as a millwright, which would basically help with the operations and the maintenance aspect of the day-to-day work in the village. So this new position would actually be working directly with the QMS. The goal will be to take an operator that has got more experience and has very little experience with the mechanical aspects that we need. Because right now it's myself, when I'm in the middle of my work, if there's mechanical issues, I generally have to stop what I'm doing to go help with the mechanical side of it. So this person will be able to handle all the mechanical end of it. And then I would take one of the existing operators that doesn't have that skill set, and they would start learning and working with me on the QMS. So then they would be my backup person. They would help with that workload. And then they'd be at a level in a year or two that if I was unavailable for whatever reason, they would be at a level that they could walk into that QMS position. The other hope being the new position would be a red seal. I would hopefully be able to get them to kind of take in my absence, help with the maintenance and the planning, major repairs kind of thing. Right now, none of the staff really have that background and knowledge. So having this new person with a background in mechanical knowledge, they would be able to take care of that aspect of the job in my absence.
So we're looking to create a new position, but not just a new position, but also shuffling responsibilities from other staff to then another individual.
Yes.
But we don't have a list of specific tasks or jobs that we would have that we don't have a layout for what that shuffle would look like.
Basically, it would be as simple as one person. So if we get a qualified applicant for the new position, one of the existing operators would be then moved over, and part of their day would be spent working with the QMS and compliance aspect of it. It'd still be operational, it'd be covering on call, it'd be covering vacation. So we're not just. It would broaden it, and the goal would be that once one person was trained, to try to bring in a second operator that we have and get them trained as well, so that it'd be at least two different people that would be able to work with the QMS, with the compliance end of it, which would allow me to have some time to focus on, and we keep talking about 5-year plans, well, there's no time for, you know, I worked last night till 11:30 doing internal audits. There's just not enough time in the day to do everything that needs to be done. Since I started, we've taken on all the water, which was not used to be in a different, so all that got moved over. We've taken on all the stormwater and catch basin repairs, the sinkholes, the list goes on and on and on. There's only so much anybody can do in a day. This would help alleviate some of that non-office time that I can get to spend as a manager.
And how did you land on a full-time position as opposed to being a part-time or contract position?
Honestly, you're not gonna find a qualified person to do compliance and operate at the same time. Like, this person, all of my staff would be fully licensed, qualified operators. To bring somebody in just to do the compliance, it's not gonna help eliminate me having to go leave my work to go help operate and do mechanical repairs and deal with that sort of thing. The other thing was work-life balance is a big part of this new position, is trying to bring in, like myself, I've had to cancel multiple vacations. I've had financial losses because I've had to come back to work on time off when I've paid for, you know, certain things, events and stuff. Regular, my staff get called back in. We have one person on call. People have to cancel appointments, come in on their vacations to help out due to the lack of staffing, especially when we have had multiple leaves over the last, 3 years. So it's not just myself, but the existing staff that are starting to feel the pressures and I guess the stress of being called in and not being able to separate from work, and there's quite a multitude of reasons behind this, and it's not just something new. I have been talking about the build up to this position for multiple years. We've looked at different options. This, to me, played out to be the best option and the best way to fund it.
And the other options you looked at, none of them were going to fit the needs that your department has?
No. And funding, the funding just wasn't beneficial to the village. It would be transferring wages, so it would be an increase in tax levies. So the tax increases would be much higher to do it that way. There would be no revenue involved.
And has there been thought put into a cross training plan for a new role? So looking into any gaps that we have outside of your department to see.
There have been, we've discussed for many years cross training. The issue is bringing people into my department, they have to be certified operators. We don't have any other staff in the village that has licenses anymore. We have looked at the option, the discussion of sidewalk cleaning and stuff has been talked about for years in the village. So in example, high snowfall events, this would actually give us the ability for, that 1 or 2 days during a snow event, we could share one of our staff members to Public Works to help, with sidewalk there. They're in parking lots, say at the arena or such like that. Summertime, if there were vacations or sick people in Public Works, we could spare somebody for a few days to help out, cut grass and stuff like that. It's not planned as a, permanent schedule sharing of a staff member, but it would give us the ability to actually help out when severe cases come up that they need that extra help for a day or two.
And just a comment that I definitely in support of, keeping us in regulatory compliance and increasing health and safety for our staff and, obviously paying great attention to the mental health of the team and, getting you guys what you need. My big concern is just the lack of clarity around what's needed for the role with such a large operating cost increase that would remain the same. It's not just a 1 year, program. It would be continuous. So, thank you for answering all my questions. I know I have a lot.
Sorry, one thing too, I guess to add to that is, in order to write up a job, there, we still need to, if this was approved, we'd still need to work with the union and provide them with that detailed job description.
Mhm.
So there's still, to give it a specific list of this is what they're gonna do, that may have to change with the union and the agreement too. So there are still details, and there are lots of details. I don't think this is gonna be a quick hire. I made it quite clear in discussions with multiple people that it's gonna take some time to find the right candidate. I wanna make sure that we get the right candidate, and to find someone that is already licensed in, the water, has some experience in water wastewater and a red seal. There's not gonna be a lot of choice, as far as applicants go. It's gonna be a fairly specified requirement of skills. So. It could be many months before we find the right person.
Councilor Burgess? Your hand?
There was one thing you mentioned previously. We had a discussion, we talked about, so the red seal, millwright. But sometimes we contract it out for the work.
Yeah, so an example would be the valve replacement program we have.
Mhm.
Right now, we're currently paying, we're purchasing the valves, and then we're paying a millwright company to come in. Depending on which valves they are, it's approximately, this year we spent approximately $7,500 is what the total should be on that. It's not a significant, I don't
No.
wanna give a, say that we're gonna save X amount of dollars,
No,
but
it's just a
there
side
will
point.
be, savings.
Mhm.
Because we will have somebody qualified to come in and do that. And they'll also be able to spend more time than I have training the existing staff how to do these types of jobs. Right now, when things happen, when I come into it, let's get this done as fast as we can, so I can go back.
Yeah.
I don't have the time to go through and train the individual staff members. This person would be able to work more directly with them and hopefully teach them a lot of these skills that they just don't have.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? So I assume what you're looking for us to approve is fee 1, which is the $5 and incremental.
Right.
So if this moves ahead, my concerns are, well, first of all, that it's a charge we've never had, and it's gonna be potentially a tough sell to the water users. How are we defining large commercial, small commercial? Seems to me like the 100-unit condos or 50-unit condos are getting a bit of a deal when it's $5 per house, and then the condo, which has a ton of parking. Like how is that being determined?
So I looked at I went through and looked at other municipalities and different fee structures they have. I got the information from Jim for the tax rails, and I just had conversations with the county, sent me some info on property sizes. So I tried to take London, for example, uses anything under half a hectare. It's considered a small residential, anything over half a hectare will be considered larger. So in ours, the county told me that there's a little bit of discrepancy on a few of them. So I took about a 0.7. Anything that was around that 0.7 was where they either went to the larger or the smaller.
Okay.
on the property. The residential, we just took residential as anything that's in the tax roll as a residential property. There are a couple that are residential with commercial use allowed in them. So if they had commercial use listed, then I put them in with small commercial.
Okay.
Because they have the ability to make profits from the residents. The high density, so that was units that were like basically 4 to 10 units in them. And then the high density, what I did was I looked at the total number of units, say in like Marion Village, the new apartment building. Took that fee and divided, like, if there's 60 units, because I'm assuming this is gonna be passed on to the individual units. Took it as it'd be the same as a residence. Divided by the X amount, so we would look at the apartment building, there was 50 to 60 units in there.
In the new building,
Yeah,
52.
Okay.
so we basically tried to make each unit would have approximately the same charge as a residential unit. And then they would all combined.
I mean, did you consider a high density, like just charging them $5 per unit? So if they have 52 units, they pay $260 a month?
Again, I looked at different options. These numbers were just a suggestion.
Because they would be paying about $4 a unit if.
It was slightly, it was about, I think it might have been a couple cents less than 4
Yeah,
for that one unit. Again, completely open to any kind of suggestions or ideas on rates. This is just my initial draft, I guess, of it. We were asked to come up with some higher numbers. One of the reasons was that after the initial cost of Blue Water initiate the charges, there's just approximately $68,000 revenue that will go into reserve. And it was asked that we look at options to get, instead of having that $100,000 request in the reserve, you can eliminate that and switch it over. So this would be the replacement of $100 or $100,000, which would be roughly option fee number 2.
Yeah.
Would basically get us to that $100,000 a year going into a stormwater reserve. So again, this is just my ideas of calculations when I did multiple scenarios and kind of what I was recommending to start off with, but obviously, council has the final say on where they want to be as far as the rates.
so it's 210. What are people's thoughts on using fee 1, 2, or 3, or do we want to modify one? I'm sensing from around the table that there's support for somehow adding this person, whether it's through this stormwater fee or other creative accounting. So staff are recommending fee 1.
That's where I feel E1 as an entry level.
Just on this, I know Windsor's had it for a few years. And I know this year they lowered some of the fees based on what they've learned over time. So I can't remember specifics, but I did, I pay attention to Windsor all the time. And that was nice to see that. I don't know how their calculations made, but I think there was something in there when I think now is that if you put some storm water mitigation into your property, they would cut your fee. So whatever that means. So this is a starting point, and it could evolve over the years that, especially the big commercial properties, they could put some more permeable surfaces or whatever in, and we would reward that.
But unfortunately, as we're setting it up right now, staff have gone to a flat monthly fee. So I'm reading about Windsor now. Windsor's is based on how much of the property is non-porous. And they do calculations, and as you say, if a commercial property modified their parking lot and created more runoff on the property, then they would do, but we're not. As it's proposed now, it's just a flat,
I'm just
yes,
saying in the future, this like, it wouldn't stay maybe this speed all the time,
right,
like it evolves. Right?
and change it to one based on,
But we need to start doing something.
the other risk is once it's in the water bill, every year there'll be a request to raise it up. So it's gonna just keep going up. Yeah.
One other thing that I did do is when I come up with this fee structure, as you can see, the city of London's fee for residential would be, I believe it's actually should have been $16. I think I believe it's $16, but we're a third of what London would be if you lived in London. So I tried to make this fee setup work so it'd be the least expensive for residential properties, and more weighted to the commercial and larger commercial as well, to have, businesses and, example, casinos, hotels that are kind of take the brunt of the expense.
And is that because they have the most hard surface?
Most of basically most of the commercial, industrial, institutional are surface. They also have typically they're revenue, like their business, they're there for profit, rather than the individual retired homeowner having to take the brunt. We did look at some other options for structures for creating, or spreading out paying for this new employee. The one idea that was looked at ended up putting the brunt of the expense on low water users, rather than, large. So basically, if you used a very small amount of water a month, it was gonna significantly increase your cost. But large users were gonna significantly decrease in cost. We didn't feel that was the right direction to go. So
What was your logic with that?
that was through it's through a fee structure of how we would try to pay for wages at a certain
Okay.
service charges and
Right.
rates and stuff. But when we did do the calculations, it typically was more expensive for the small users.
Right,
because we,
okay, I'm back where we were, yeah.
Like retired.
Typically the
retired
seniors,
people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in favor of fee one.
Okay, so Councillor Burgess is recommending we accept fee one as it's presented.
Are we lumping this decision with the staffing decision, or are we keeping this entirely separate? The fee structure.
Well, we're not gonna have the staff person without a fee, we're not gonna have the fee without a staff person, so yes, they're linked.
It's a package.
Got it.
And it's not this package. It's gotta be on the tax roll, right, to pay for the position. So this is a way that would lessen the impact to the residents. Right?
There's options as well, like, we are putting $60,000 into reserves from this fee. We could be dropping the residential one by $1 a month.
It doesn't have to be 5.
And then not have that reserve, right? And then find the reserve somewhere else and just only pay for the employee. It's 5,000 a month, so there's your 60,000 right there by dropping the residential by $1. But it doesn't.
No, you'd be dropping. If you went from $5 a month to $4 a month, you'd be reducing it by about 800 a month. In total, right?
Yeah.
So you're getting 4,000
Oh, yeah.
a month. So basically you're cutting it. If you cut it from 5 to 4, you reduce that 4,000 by 20%.
So if I do the math, if we eliminated the residential, we'd have
If
no.
you eliminated the residential, yes, sorry, I didn't. I
Yeah,
thought
no,
you
not-
just cutting it by $1.
That's what I was about, but I was doing the math wrong.
Yeah,
So
if
you could launch
eliminated
this on
it,
small commercial, large commercial, high density. And not residential, and pay for the employee, but not have the $60,000 reserve.
Yeah. Yeah, that actually, that math works out almost exact.
Okay, so the recommendation is fee one as presented, but is there, who wants to second that, move forward, or are we open to?
I'll second that.
Second
No, there
one.
was a suggestion to go to fee two at one time, like to look at $100,000 reserve, to have us create $100,000 after the cost of the employee. That was mentioned last committee meeting, so I don't know.
The reason I talk about eliminating this reserve plan is we just put 100 grand in the reserve from within our taxes. Do we need to do this? Then we reduce the impact, because all of a sudden, how many residences are there?
817.
There's 817 people we won't make angry. Because we won't give them a stormwater fee. And the small, large, and the apartments would be impacted. Now, we want to support our business as much as we want to support our residents, and we don't want to annoy you. But that's, I'm just thinking that's as an option.
I'll be honest, I don't personally feel that I have enough information to make a decision about the hiring with what I've heard. So I won't be in support of it.
And that's the other thing I was going to talk about is implementation date. It's in the budget for January 1st. There's no way you're going to hire somebody by January 1st, right? Yeah. So should we be delaying this slightly to the end of first quarter? Allow Councillor Knocker to get more information. Add it to the bills April 1st, if it goes ahead, and your recruitment would tie into that.
The only thing I would say, if we do that, then I would see, you know, I want to have quite a lengthy posting period to try to get in. So if we wait until the first quarter, we'd probably be looking at,
No, I'm saying you would post now
well, posting.
with the start date of April 1st, that's it. So that would give you your lengthy period, right? So you post it, say January 1st for a month or month and a half, you do your interviews. If the person has to quit a job, you'd probably be pretty close to then to hire, right? Do you think?
Depending on the qual.
Yeah, it's
Depending on the
fair to say,
people
yeah.
that apply, you could get the perfect applicant, but they may not be willing to, you know, if you're gonna do a change, they may not wanna wait.
Yeah.
Depending on family situations and children and that, it may deter them from coming, too, right?
Well, you could always come back.
So.
I mean, if you had somebody in
Yes.
earlier, that can come back for a discussion. I just don't think we're going to. I know what it takes to get a red seal and then having that extra. It's gonna take some time to find something and recruit in all the right places.
Would a plan, had to have a plan in place for this upcoming audit, would that be enough? Because that's the issue right now. It's
Basically,
not like that's a
yeah.
more pressing issue than this. Right?
I've never dealt with this actual, I've never had.
Yeah,
This
and we've had
situation
this
before.
discussion.
I haven't spoken with any of my colleagues that have dealt with this before. We also have, we have a new auditor. I've never met the auditor that's coming in January. They may have serious issues with not, like we should have this. The corrective action response that we sent in identified the issue of multiple staff trying to do multiple roles. One person trying to do the majority of the workload on the compliance and QMS end of it. Whether they would accept a plan. We have been discussing this since the audit findings came in, so, you know, it's been a lengthy time just to get to this point. I've came in with multiple different scenarios and options, and they weren't favorable to other people that were involved, and so now we're here. I can't speak for the auditor, but if they don't accept that, then we can be dealing with some serious issues because of that, so.
I think, like, based on my ISO experience, think, I'm just saying, I think that if you demonstrate that you've got a plan in place, you took this seriously, this is what we're looking to rectify it, they'll be accepting.
I agree.
They're not out to punish us and be punitive on a small community that's working hard to comply. That's
Yep.
been my experience with auditors, but that's more like on the ISO side, but it's the same sort of thing. Yeah, it's similar. They just had to see that you took it seriously and that you were working towards fixing it.
Okay, so we'll call, and I think we have to call a vote on this.
Yeah, probably
Yeah,
should,
yeah, except for-
Enough of a-
I don't think I'll be able to support fee one's plan. If I was to support it, I would want to eliminate the residential and increase the high density residential. And remove it from the residents. And move it over to, leave small and large commercial alone as they are, but the higher density units with landlords and that, move it over to there. So even take high density 4 to 10 units to $75 and high density to 250 or 300. And then we'll figure out the reserve like we have now. We found a reserve of 100,000. Do we need to hammer 800 residents with this? I don't think we do. But that's not what's on the table. The fee one as presented is on the table, so we'll vote.
You can vote on fee one with an amendment.
Well, so we've got Paul made the motion,
Okay.
Tim seconded the motion.
Yeah.
To incorporate fee one
As
as
presented.
it is on the sheet. If people are
Okay, take
proposing a
that.
change to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It can be a friendly amendment. So if the mover is comfortable with what deputy mayor is suggesting, we can amend the motion, or we can, if not, then we go ahead with the motion as it stands.
Sure, I would take the amendment.
Okay, so that means we're going to, and the seconder needs to be in favor of it as well.
I'm in favor.
Okay. So in that case, we need to vote on the current motion, which is to implement fee one as presented in the budget.
And do we want, I think we should do a recorded vote
Okay.
on this. And then if it fails, then we can bring another amendment forward.
Yes, yeah, something else can be, another motion can be made, absolutely. Yep, okay, so recorded vote to implement fee one as recommended in the report. Councillor Noctor.
No.
Okay, Councillor Mondu,
In favor.
Councillor Burgess.
In favor.
Man, gotta keep up here. Deputy Mayor Grimes
And not, no,
and Mayor Hand.
No,
Okay, so the motion is defeated. 3 votes to 2.
so I'm chairing. Does somebody else want to make the motion that I proposed? That is. Or do we just,
So just to be clear, what the deputy mayor proposed is that we eliminate the fee for residential properties as proposed in fee one. We leave the small commercial as is, the large commercial as is, increase the high density residential from, can't even read that, it's like 60,
oh, sorry.
60 to 75, I think is what you said.
yeah,
And raise the 200 for high density condos to 250.
is there a remover for that?
I can't talk to you, get moving.
Oh, no, you can.
Yeah, Or you can, or you can
well,
move it.
Can I?
Yep.
Okay. Move it.
So Mayor Hand moves his or seconder? No. Can I second it as chair?
yeah, you can.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Okay,
So
go ahead,
my
Mayor Hand.
question is, why increase the last two? Like, I would be in favor of, like, eliminate the first one. But why would we want to take the 60 and 200 higher?
I guess my feeling was I didn't think that they were contributing enough based on their occupancy, so. But I would be open to leaving it. It's only, the high density residential is 5 properties. And the
Yeah.
high density condos is 5 properties, so it's only 10 properties. But we can leave it as Jay's recommended. I'd be okay with that.
I'm okay with leaving it.
Okay. So we just made friendly amendments
Okay.
there.
All right, so the motion will be that fee 1 with the residential fee eliminated be adopted as proposed.
Mhm.
That might not be the exact wording,
Right,
No, but
but that's the intention is to implement fee 1 with no charge to single family residential properties.
okay, we can record that vote as well.
So
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Does that get us financially where we need to be?
that will generate 100
40,
120, about
35.
135. The cost of the employee is about 128, I think it was. 127. So it might, I mean, as we said, we're not sure about that.
Just on.
1,200.
That's sort of what I was doing.
I'm sorry.
No, not the whole $5. Well, you'd have to do it. There's $805.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's only. That's
That's what would be
only
the.
5, the other ones.
Yeah, I just. Take that into consideration.
And the fees collected from Fire Bridge, 11,408. The compensation, no change, 126,750. The net balance is 19,290.
And that could go into reserves. So there would still be a reserve contribution, just,
Or the fee for Blue Water Power.
oh, right, yeah,
Yeah.
in year 1, then year
Yeah.
2, year
Yeah.
2,
Yeah.
it could be close.
No. Okay, so we got moved by by Deputy Mayor Grimes,
No, moved by Mayor Hand,
Mayor Hand. Okay, sorry.
sorry.
That's right. You're correct. That we implement fee schedule 1 with no fee for residential properties. Okay, Councillor Mondu,
I'm in favor.
Councillor Burgess,
In favor.
Deputy Mayor Grimes,
In favor?
sorry, I skipped over here. Okay. And Mayor Hand.
in favor.
Okay.
And then the only thing, we should make a implementation date decision. That probably should have been captured in the motion, but
Yeah.
are we good with January 1st or April 1st?
January 1st,
Okay, all right. And we don't have to do
From the-
anything. Okay,
hearing that from the gallery.
okay.
Well, that would make sense because once the billing gets
Yeah.
updated for the rate changes,
It's all done at once.
it's all done at once. It's you're touching things once.
All right.
Okay, so
So Jean will have to come back with some amended numbers there. She's got a lot of it figured out already,
Yeah.
but
Just confirmation.
okay, so 2:30, we came back at 1. Do we want a quick break or we want to go right into operations operating?
Yeah, we finished this one, haven't we?
we should finish off.
Very
There's
sorry.
other expenses there and you might want to discuss. In pump stations.
Oh, yeah. Which
This
is,
meeting, we've got the position now. We have the funding. We voted on the position.
I'm assuming they were linked.
Yeah, that's what we had discussed about them.
This would, I want to clarify.
Yep.
Okay, so can you call that up there then? Or
Oh,
show me,
sorry.
show me what page I'm on
Yep,
here?
no, I'll bring, Oh.
Okay. Man, there's quite a few there after that. Okay, so we'll move through the rest of the operating items for storm. Primarily wages, benefits, WSIB, hydro, water, repairs and maintenance, insurance, wages, benefits, internet, water, equipment maintenance repairs. Any questions at all on those items?
No,
The only thing there, hydro has a 30% increase. That's obviously what the utility is charging us and not much we can do about that. And then the other large increase is the increased headcount, right? Okay. Now operations?
Yeah, I kind of foresaw we'd just go through this document or in the order it's
So we do want to start
in the
now.
order it's there. So we'll skip over taxation. And although we'll point out, I think Jean did point out in her presentation that $101,000 that's there is the two new buildings in the village.
Okay,
So that is it's good to have those contributions to the
the two new,
Coffers.
so it's BPO and who else?
the
new
52
apartments.
condo.
finishing,
52
Oh,
unit
for
condo.
48 units.
And I guess for next year, the
52.
two-story one will,
If that ever
If
gets
it-
built,
yeah.
yeah.
It's also a plan of subdivision approval coming in.
Yep, there is some potential growth
Good.
in
That's
in
With the county at the moment?
2026.
the Venetian.
all right, okay, so okay, now I'm on the same page as you, so. Other community and board expenses, that's the Police Services Board and the Conservation Authority. Any questions?
Question on
Yep.
the police service board wages. We have 5 members on there and the wages have dropped. Almost $2,000. Don't, because there is a per diem
Yeah,
that's paid out to the members.
any background on that?
Curious.
I don't think they came in at the beginning of the term.
It's for
They've
next
been
year's
there
all
all
Is
valid.
last
that it?
year, though.
Okay, sorry, I was thinking that we were down for a period of time.
Unless it's the benefits one. Yeah, I don't know.
I think the 6,500 seems right for 5 people. I'm trying to do the math. What did, you know what the annual honorarium is?
I have no idea.
No.
Do you know, Jane, where that number is? Okay.
Okay, so let's move on while she's trying to find that. I think we should put it back to 6,500 for now. That seems to be the right number. But any other questions on,
The conservation authority,
yes, sir?
it says 2.88. Apparently it's supposed to be 8%.
It's dropped to 5-ish. But
And I have an issue with the whole changes that are coming up, so. Can we withhold our funding? Until the government determines what they're gonna do here?
yeah, we can.
What, do you have any insight on that? Because now
You know,
the area is all from Kitchener to Windsor
to Lake Erie, yeah. Yeah, there's gonna be a call for comments and I'll be bringing something to our December 2nd meeting, looking for some comments. Yeah, it's gonna change the whole makeup of everything we do. I might be the last chair of the St. Clair Region Conservation Authority.
Your vice chair already commented.
Yes, you did.
You'll be out of a job.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna dramatically change how it operates and how we still don't know. We're still like they're doing all the smoke and mirrors right now, the government, and we're waiting for the actual CD, but, we can hold our payment back, like, until we're satisfied.
Sort of, I'm just, you know.
Yeah.
What are
throwing it out
they,
there until we understand.
what are they looking for an implementation deadline? You know?
Like, 2027, January would be full.
I thought it was in there.
Some changes are, but the full-on transition is January 2027. Okay, so
You take 5%?
I think it's gonna go up a little bit more than 40,000, but it'll be a rounding error in the, unless you want to change it to. Did they not, I thought I sent you the,
I haven't seen an invoice.
yeah, but we
but
did do the
pretty
draft
early.
budget and send it out with everybody's.
Yeah, I think we've seen that.
Okay,
There for police service board. And the budget is based on 2025 pay and times 26 pay. That's the actual item now. The 2024 budget is still based on 2024 budget, never use actual. So this is more accurate. For the police.
So the
service board pay.
6,500 budget was
It's
high.
just, yes, I have to say that's just accumulate based on budget, never use actual.
And you've got 5 people, sorry.
so you go ahead.
You've got 5
You're
people on
asking the
the,
same thing.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is this three?
so there's 5.
That's why.
But we used to be 3.
Yeah, we did. We used to be
We
3.
had to have, yeah,
So
we had that.
So if
Another
3
$6,000.
pays, yeah,
1,600 each, another $3,000, so.
Yeah.
They're 32, so $8,000, right?
close to it.
Okay, so we'll change the police service board wages to 8,000 approximately. Okay. Okay, other community and board totals, we have our council wages, benefits, etc. Any questions in there? Okay. Governance total policing,
Question
Yep.
on that.
go ahead, Tim.
And Bev, you may know, or Mary Ann, you may know, I thought last year they said that it was the last year for this county grant. For policing. At county council. You heard anything?
No, I haven't.
I just wondered, because I thought that's what came up.
Yeah, no, I haven't.
Is this the $500, Councilman
No,
Wonder?
this is 17,000
Oh, right, okay.
964.
Was that the one to compensate for the increase?
No,
No.
No,
No, this is one they were looking to roll back because. I can't remember the reasoning now, but I know they did say that. I think either last year or this year will be the last. I'm just checking to see if that's still coming. So,
I don't recall any, I mean, I recall the question being asked before. I don't recall what the answer was. I can reach out.
I think there's something different for this other for the Lambton board. Like we're a separate detachment, I think the other municipalities were losing some funding towards their collective. But it wouldn't apply to us because we're on our own.
I thought it was all inclusive, but anyways, if you could.
Maybe I'm
find out.
wrong, because I've heard somebody mention it, like. From one of the other municipalities, but I'm up there tomorrow, I can ask.
Yeah.
so are we gonna leave it as a revenue source or are we gonna zero it out? It's half a point,
Yeah, I would leave it for now.
okay.
Yeah,
The only thing I've been policing is I did send an email a while ago to Jim about. Sort of sprucing up the detachment with some landscaping and a little bit of paint, so is that included in that $18,000 there? Will that cover it or do we need it as a separate line item?
Mike and I talked about this shortly after you sent that email out, and he thought that there's some stuff he could do with an existing budget.
Okay,
good to know.
even a couple baskets and some,
Mhm.
like,
Spraying off the cobwebs.
yeah, and painting some of the doors, right? So, okay, okay. So what is that 18,000 for? That's the cleaners, isn't it?
Pretty much,
Yeah.
and just, yeah, general.
Okay.
I wanted to point out the ride grant, so we used to get a grant every year and then there was offsetting expenses. The detachment is only allowed to do one ride grant, and for those purposes, we're considered as part of the Lambton detachment. So they've done one grant application. They'll still do work, they'll still do extra ride checks in the village, but we won't see a grant or a bill for it. So it's been removed both from revenue and expense.
Well, that's why there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Which
I have a
we're-
question on the telephone.
Mhm.
This year, we're way over budget. The budget was 2,000. And we're at like 4,000.
Yeah. So there were there are three lines in that building. Two of them have now been canceled. They should have been canceled months ago so the OPP switched over to their VoIP system. They ported the numbers over, but they never canceled the bill to us. So we've been working on on Bell to try and get a refund, but we have to maintain one line there for fax. So that's why it's,
being resolved. though,
Yes.
right? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Sounds weird, right?
Okay, so police budget. We said those questions, otherwise we're fine.
Just a
Should
minute,
note
though.
that the contract costs have gone up almost 11%, so.
But we have completely taken that $2,000 out. We'll still need money there for a fax line.
Oh, that's right, yeah, I think it totally.
That's
Okay,
based on the local, I didn't budget for this.
The fax can be done over VoIP.
I guess we can't do it here.
Okay,
It's. Okay, just
so what are you throwing back in there? $1,200? What's a landline now? $50?
no, it was
Commercial landlines.
like 2,000 is what it costs, yeah.
so
A fax for the phone lines were more in there, like it was $6,000 a year for the 3 phone lines that they had. And there is something different about them. They're not just a standard phone line, but
That's dedicated in there too.
Yes,
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
We have telephone lines, but it's kind of facts and over.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so casing done, grant reserves. Any questions on that?
I have one on the mat reserve. It says here 2,700 as last year, now this year it's 61,500. Why all of a sudden a huge increase?
You're welcome.
Like, I'm thinking, was that not, oh, yeah, I'm just thinking that, that's not, that's a revenue, right?
Yeah.
That's the transfer. That's
The transfer of the
transfer.
2025 money.
Oh,
That's right.
okay, yes,
Into
okay, got it,
2026.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, now I understand. Thank you.
And then the bottom item, the transfer from casino to bank loan interest, that's to pay off the loan for St. Clair Street.
That's right.
Okay, for expenses under that, we have transfer reserves for municipal office, transfer reserves for interest, and treasure storm.
That number's gonna change now.
The
That
bottom.
48,318 will change because
Yes.
of the last decision.
That's right, yeah, that's the third, it's a break even of the deal.
Okay.
So did we add 2,000 for the back one?
Yes.
Yep.
Begrudgingly, but we did. Municipal office revenues, we show an increase of 15%. Any specific items in there you want to look at?
Are you on page 3?
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a question on the Canada Day event. It went from 0 to 13,000.
So that's a new, used to be in capital, now in operating.
Okay.
We've always, yes, I believe it is, Matt tax for Canada
I
Day.
can't remember that. Lucy, for the-
Matt, because the total for Canada Day is $20,000. So this $13, this donation grant we are expecting to receive, and the
Okay.
not one, and it will be funded this full Matt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, the 13,000 is what Shelley has brought in over the last, she's brought in that much in sponsorships. So if for some reason she only brings in 9, the overall expense down below would be lower.
Okay, so we were still on revenues. Any other questions on revenue then? For municipal office, no? We'll go to expenses. Councilor Mondo's brought up the Canada Day.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yep,
Oh, that's, okay. Chip truck rental,
we're back to revenue. Wait,
that's revenue. That, we don't know what that's gonna be, in 2026,
Yeah.
correct?
Mhm.
So we're gonna leave it where it is, or like it could,
I hope we can leave
I
it where
know
it
what
is.
we're hoping for, but just trying to be a realist here.
I don't know what else you could do. Unless you went lower, but you'll know in a week or so,
Yeah, we should know on Friday.
on Friday.
We've been asked a bit about it. Like it. With the open numbers.
Again, that's one of the risks of doing it 3 months earlier, right?
Okay.
and then the increase in the computer service contracts, is that that thing you were talking about earlier?
Yes.
And then who are we hiring as an outside consultant this year? That's gonna cost us $44,000.
So that's where the fee for Blue Water Power comes in, right?
I'm sorry.
Count number 70200160.
That's the auditors.
No, I said Blue Water Power.
I believe,
What to do what?
like to set up the fees in their system, which could be a lot lower now if we're only doing it for
We had
many fewer properties.
So they're charging us $45,000.
They haven't told us anything. We estimated 20. And I think that's where that shows up, like it's more than one thing in that budget. So the audit is there.
Okay,
Or is the two part service fee. One is auditing fee, one is the financial statement and FYR reporting fee. They are not auditing fee, so I kind of break that one half charge to auditing fee and the other one charge to the, on the bottom, there is a service fee, you can see this one there is 0170200620, that's outside consulting fee, that's another $20,000 there. So break it down, because they're not auditing fee, they're just kind of the other, professional services fee.
so I was trying to understand who we're paying the $44,500 to for an outside consultant.
For the,
We budgeted $44,500 for an outside consultant.
yeah, this is the $25,000 is financial reporting fee, and $25,000 we will assume that's the Blue Water Power for the strong fees initial setup.
So they would charge us, we think, $20,000 to amend our billing.
Well, just, this is the assumption,
Yeah.
we don't know right now.
But now that we've changed it, we could assume that would be half that, right? Because we're not doing 800 residential
Yeah.
units.
So it should be under 2,000,
Could be a lot cheaper.
If we take $10,000 off that,
but we missed on the $2,000 phone,
That's okay.
so that it helps mitigate.
Well, the overall for the storm is, there doesn't have any tax impact right now, even though for reduce this to $10,000, we still the revenue part is reduced as well, so I think that's kind of in and out at this moment, so when as a final, it doesn't impact the chief.
yeah, but we don't have that $20,000. Because we got rid of all the residential units.
That storm fee doesn't,
That's what, yeah,
that's not
so it's a fee
taxable
drop
fee. That's just a fee.
Right, so we're reducing the revenue by 50,000 or so.
Yeah,
Because right now, what we do is any kind of surplus from storm fees is put in reserve. And right now, it's in breaking. So any change on the revenue and the will impact on the expenses as well. So right now it's, no changes. We can drop down this one, but revenue has been dropped down.
Right.
Yeah. That's including fee and services. Yeah. For this revenue.
I think we're gonna have to come back to it, and see. Like, we're gonna cut the revenue,
Yeah.
the employee cost is gonna stay the same. The reserve is basically gonna be gone. So that number may change a little bit, but not materially, I don't think. Cause we're, we've figured we're
don't-
gonna generate,
But we don't want to lose money on this, so it should reflect what's left over,
yeah,
or be less than what's left over. Okay, I'll leave that for you guys to
yeah.
figure out. And staff training's up $5,000. Is there some new training that you're introducing?
In the health and safety area, are we talking here or?
It says, yeah, health and safety.
So, Shelley goes through every year and she figures out what training is gonna be required and what the costs of it are, so that number varies from year to year based on what the requirements are for the village.
Jay said the other day that some less training was done in environmental services because they had employee off. So they weren't able to train as much.
Mine will.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, it doesn't
sorry.
affect it.
Okay.
Okay, so if you can just quickly find where's the $400,000 increase in municipal office and what's driving that?
100,000.
So we're going from 2025 budget of 1 million to a 2026 budget of 1.4.
Mm-hmm.
What's
So the, almost half of it is the loan and interest on St. Clair Street. Um,
Insurance.
yeah, insurance is,
insurance is only
You
up
know.
$11,000.
the outside consultants piece is up 40,000 plus.
Computer upgrade, 25.
$62,000, that's foundation from capital.
How much? Sorry?
61,000.
61,000.
On the other big change is moving all of these former capital things
Yeah.
over. So
Yeah,
And then also the election expense is
Mhm.
37,000.
Okay.
So it is a lot. There's a lot of numbers in there.
it's not so much more spending as it's moving.
Redistribution.
Yeah.
okay, any other questions on the municipal office?
I have a question on crossing guard.
Mhm.
Is that for a full year?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
Are we not eliminating that in June?
there was no determination made, so the decision that was made by council back when was to include it for the rest of this year and then revisit it now. So yeah, we've kept it in the budget. It's definitely open for discussion.
$10,000, well worth it normal.
I don't know how much I've been down there twice this year, and both times I was there, I had a parent mention to me how much they appreciate the gentleman being there. So for what it's worth, I mean, it's, yeah.
Yeah.
There was definitely talk of once we had the light in place that we might eliminate the crossing guard, but
And you've worked the corner before. Do the, is that
Those
the way,
can-
is that the way to phrase it?
Yeah.
Do the students push the button or does the guard cross? Like, do you just watch them and make sure they're safe or?
No, the couple times I've gone, I push the button. I still do everything the same. I go stand out in the middle of traffic and
With the
stop
lights
people.
on and everything. Okay, fair enough.
I don't know, Michael.
I have also worked that corner a few times, but I've encouraged the students to do themselves.
Okay,
It just like
Good
it's part of a training aspect, but still going over. But
right. Also have them push the button, have them
Yes.
look,
and understand.
and but you still accompany them across.
Correct.
Thank you. Okay, that's all for municipal office then? Okay. Arena ice rentals, did you want to come up, Mike, and discuss the rates? And the revenue?
Oh, I guess I could move this.
And so
Four. Midway. Four.
yes, thank you. So as we've reviewed the arena rates, we suggested in the committee meeting that we increase the rates from our current 220 to 240 on prime time hours and our current 90 to 100 on non-prime time hours. This will begin in the new ice season in this coming new fiscal budget, of which once we broke the numbers down, it looked like there was a potential of a $32,000 increase across the entire ice timeframe. Dividing that in half, looking at what they were, about half the time was spent in each fiscal, so we increased the budget another $16,000 to reflect that.
Do floor rentals change in 2026?
In terms of usage
No,
or?
the hourly rate, like for the
Yes, in
lacrosse and
September,
that?
in September of 2026.
Is that with the 100?
Oh, for the off season, or for the off ice season, that was going to be reviewed in January, and we'll be increasing it to the 9 prime, was the idea.
But not
Not-
in the 2026 year.
Correct. Sorry. We can discuss it further, but yes, I hadn't anticipated that in the 2026 year, but there is a potential if it is.
Yeah, I guess-
Of interest to the council, we would certainly do that.
So as of, for 2026, the off-season rate for the floor will stay as it is.
As it is right now, yes, but we could discuss it.
We'll put it on the agenda
We could
for
put it on the agenda to
January.
discuss.
All right.
Yes,
Cause we have users that start in April,
correct.
that's. You know, they get less notice if we were to do that.
Yes, I agree. I did notice I did mention in the, during the rate discussions that I was hoping to have a 3-month discussion with those use groups at that point, so I still
Yeah.
would be able to have a meaningful discussion with all those potential users and indicate that the rates will be changing and see what the reaction will be.
Like, cause for example, lacrosse is collecting fees. So they would probably wanna know if they have to change
Yes.
the fee schedule.
Yeah.
Definitely. No, very, very good point. That is a very good point.
And under revenue for the snack bar, where does the revenue for that go?
The rental fee from the snack bar. Because it did used to have its own budget, or it didn't.
It's, I know it's minor.
Nearly 500
Yeah,
bucks, but it's 500 bucks. It's
Okay, so we can add that in. Any questions on revenue for the arena then? Anyone else? And how about expenses?
Just, I got one on advertising and just.
Yep.
I'd sent Mike something on sponsorship, so I know it's been a short time since, but you know, are we starting to look at, you know, possible other opportunities as far as to get their out, like sponsorship revenue, you know, whatever we wanna call it.
Definitely, no, we've thank you for sending that along as well. As been mentioned, we'll try to get some assistance from someone who has a little bit more knowledge in this area to help support us in gaining revenues, either from sponsorship or from advertisement of that type, but yes, that was gonna be something to do soon.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions on expenses in the arena? The concession repairs and maintenance, if we don't spend it, are we reserving that, or is it just reset at 1,000 every year?
No,
This was-
yeah, it just resets.
Okay.
At one time, we were putting some
did have a
money
reserve.
into a reserve.
For the, sometime, was it for the
Um,
cooker?
Well, it's just
no,
for,
it's just for equipment in general.
in case someday, like, if the range hood goes.
Yeah, that's what I meant, sorry.
Yeah, that's something that's not in the capital budget this year. We have typically put,
Yeah.
I believe it was $1,000.
Was it 25?
2,500,
Yeah.
and it is there? Okay,
It's here for this year, okay.
thank you.
I have a question on the community hall. I know last year at budget time, we talked about revisiting the Optimist agreement. And haven't heard anything on that. So.
Okay.
I don't know what it states today or what it's all about.
I will review the agreement, says if I can find the most recent agreement, available, I will certainly review it, I can bring some comments back to next committee.
Under expenses, is there a line item that reflects the new contract with Black and McDonald? How are we managing that?
I was putting that under one of the capital items that we had this year for the building of Public Works. And then working with Jay to be able to cost recover across both of our budget lines, because there are a number of aspects that will affect EMS as well in terms of the building maintenance. So we're building it into our operational budgets that are already there. If we find that there are some major repairs from the asset from the initial asset repair investigations that they find, then we will be looking at potentially increasing budget lines as necessary, but we haven't found that yet.
So have we entered in an exclusive deal with Black and McDonald to do all our maintenance? Is that?
We signed an agreement for them to come in and do annual PMs, to do they're gonna do an initial site assessment on all of our equipment. Provide us photographs, dates, serial numbers, and a condition assessment for everything, including some end of life details if they're getting down to that point. And allow us to be able to then budget accordingly over the year or 2 or 3, depending on what they actually find. It helps with it will assist with the asset management program as a general whole across the village.
Now, did we RFP that, or did we just give it to them?
We met with 3 different vendors in regards to understanding what was necessary. The cost to be able to do it, I think. What was the initial? It was 15,000 for the entire village for multiple PMs and such. We just entered an agreement with them upon talking to Jay and then meeting with other vendors. We didn't feel that an RFP was necessary due to the cost.
So what problem were we trying to fix with going to Black and McDonald versus our current way of or the old way of doing things?
The old way of doing things didn't have any preventative maintenance whatsoever or have any investigation. As was found, there was over a 20-year-old unit on the top of Public Works, which was an exhaust fan for the bathroom that no one knew about. Upon investigation, they said that there was an issue with that and we currently have it operating. So there was a number of things that, again, specifically within the Public Works buildings, a number of motors were not operating effectively or even at all. So I think not having a preventative maintenance program may have let these assets slip to a point where they were no longer functioning. So now that we have something along those lines, we'll have a better understanding of that asset and a better true valuation of what would be necessary to replace them moving forward.
And is it true that this deal, Black and McDonald, now shuts out like Blue Water Plumbing from doing any
Not
repairs?
at all. No, Blue Water Plumbing is still an absolute preferred vendor within the village. That's not a problem whatsoever. And it's with any electrical, anything along those lines, we certainly do have, and I encourage them to be used. One of the challenges we did find with a vendor like Blue Water Plumbing, they weren't able to supply us the asset management details. They weren't able to supply us with the serial numbers and all the data that came with this at the same cost. So we were able to secure a very strong cost in terms of the product and the valuation, as well as getting some extra details. Was one of the major reasons we went with them.
So is Ainsworth still a vendor for us?
Ainsworth still does work for us at the arena as well, yes,
Okay.
they've done a lot of work in terms of the boiler plant and such, so we've left that work with them.
Okay. Any other questions on arena expenses? Hang on a minute, Mike, because you're the next act as well.
Yeah.
So arena, we're all good with? Okay, thank you, everyone. Revenue for public works. Just a 1.3% reduction, so I guess that's okay. Questions on expenses?
I have one on the mesh system here. It's gone up significantly. And I know this is not just you, but is this? As I know, there's been talk of a new system. Are we migrating to a new system or are we migrating to a new system?
So that's the discussion. So as Jay and I had mentioned earlier, there was another asset management system that both had a daily feature, which MasterCare provides us, as well as a longer term feature that holds our asset management details. We've been in discussion with them for over a year now, trying to identify it. And Jay had mentioned earlier in the budget deliberations here that they currently work with Watson Associates, which is important to us to be able to potentially get on board with that. Mesh's costs have increased, and that's why typically Jay and I split it across both departments. Right now, the cost to be able to migrate to that system was quite a bit higher than we're currently looking at. So we've been working with them to try to find the best way to be able to look into a migration on the time.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
I got one, county road sweeping, it went from 3,500 to 14,000,
It's
almost 15.
I believe that's an error on my end. That's
Okay.
something I was gonna speak to.
I hope so.
Speak to the treasurer about. There was some challenges that those particular lines, when they were created, reflect the costs that we charge back to the county for any of the county road works. And they
Okay.
had them.
No, that's fair.
That will, I'm
That
going
was-
to request that to be put back to what it was.
Yeah. That didn't.
So did you catch that, Jim? So road sweeping,
320.
72300020. Budgeted 3,500. But it's actually budgeted 15 grand this year. It's gonna go back
Go
to,
back to 35.
is 3,500, right? It hasn't gone
That's
up
right.
year over year? Okay. I thought you were adding 6 more sweeps. And
So,
then
and this is the county road thing though, too.
Correct. Yeah, that's the billing. That's the quarterly billing that we do to the county.
But it's under an expense.
We will separate out the work so when we do road sweeping, we understand that a certain percentage of the road sweeping, which represents that 3,500, that will be transferred in out of all of the village to be able to cover
But
that.
3,500, that's for our 2 road sweeps annually, right?
Correct.
Okay.
No, sorry,
County road.
so that is the county road version of that. I think there's another $8,000 in another budget for the road sweeping.
Gotcha.
So, yes.
And then the change in summer student wages, that's just because we've moved the one that used to be capitalized into the group, right?
That is correct.
So how many students is that? That's 4? Okay,
4.
but we just moved that one over.
Yes.
So we moved one over and up 6,000, but we have $58,000 for 4 students. Are we paying them a lot of money now?
We pay them, let me just do some quick math here. About $18 an hour.
Mhm.
So 18 times 40 times 16 weeks, about 11,500 a student, just for wages. Approximately.
It's again between benefits and wages, so this is all the things.
Just on students, I see that the Canada Summer Job Grant request is out,
Mhm.
deadline is December 11th. Are you aware?
Yep, painfully.
And we keep getting shut out.
Well,
Exactly.
well, as we put in,
Well,
We tried.
explain
Yeah,
to
we'll
me why
try.
you don't get
I
the
know,
grant.
I just saw that, I thought I'd mention it, thank you.
Okay, any other questions in public works and parks expenses? Okay, seeing none. Fire, No, don't jump up.
And it's that, the timing's good. I need to do a doctor's appointment.
Okay,
I'm just gonna drop and come back.
Remember where we are.
we're at fire. He can't be here, so
I know, I know. I meant
we'll talk
I'll
slow.
leave my stuff.
Yeah,
in the building.
we'll talk slow. So I have a question on note 2, where I know we're covering an overlap with contingency reserve. What time, how much, like how long is that?
This is for the full period.
So it's reasonable to suspect that we won't have anybody in place for probably 3 months. So could we not reduce this by 1/3 and reduce the impact on our,
So we could, it won't impact the tax rate though,
Because it's
because
going
we're
out of
bringing it out
reserves?
of reserves, yeah.
but
So, yeah, I
if
mean,
it's less, we'll take less out of reserves, is what you're saying?
exactly.
I always hate when I try and find the money and you guys just,
Well, you think you've got a good idea
Yeah,
and
it's-
it's, oh,
And it is a good idea, but
Yeah.
it's just not.
and then the firefighter benefits are up 5,600. Is that the RSP contribution?
That's a very large portion of it, yes.
And has everybody, like, where are we at with the agreements as far as executing them with everybody?
So we are going to prepare, Doug and I were speaking about this the other day, or maybe it was Rick, I don't remember which one. it was.
There's Rick.
We're gonna prepare a letter, like we're gonna individually prepare letters for the firefighters to indicate if they want to sign them or not. So we kind of had hoped to do it to have it done for last night, but with everything that's going on at the budget, we just haven't had a chance to do that. So we're gonna have these packages prepared for them to go out to each individual firefighter soon.
So you're saying the signing of the agreement is,
Yeah, if they,
Optional?
if exactly, yeah,
and if they don't sign it, do they still get the RSP contribution?
yes.
And
So we will give them the agreement. By giving it to them, they will be aware of the requirements. So if they don't, one of the things that we're gonna be asking for is driver's license information. If they choose not to give that to us, then there most likely will be repercussions of their position. But that they don't have to sign the letter to agree. They have to follow all the conditions in the letter, but they don't actually have to sign it.
that's been validated by
Legal,
Paula.
yeah.
yeah,
Did-
and you should be we note that
Yeah,
you didn't sign.
I'll note, like, what we'll do is I will keep a record that we provided each firefighter with the package of information on such and such date. Based on when we provide it to them, we'll ask for a return date. If you're gonna sign this letter, return it by this date. If you choose not to, we've got a record that you were given the information.
So by not signing and they don't give us a vulnerable sector check or license, you will address that at some
Yeah.
point?
Yeah, if they don't meet the condition, they are still required to meet those conditions.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. And so we will pay out the RSP, and it'll start next year, right?
no, the direction the council gave was for it to be for this year.
Okay,
So
So-
Rick went through, or I don't know, Rick gave me the information. I don't know who he were, if he did it himself but they went through firefighter by firefighter timeline, higher date by higher date. And it's about $32,000
for this year.
for this year, yeah.
And that's it, that'll just come out of a reserve somewhere.
Yeah, it'll work into the budget or into the deficit or surplus, wherever
Okay.
we're at.
Okay. Then you have a process for people to submit some sort of a receipt.
Yeah,
of
they will
their
have to
contribution.
provide some kind of information to me that shows they've made a contribution.
All right, any other questions of the chief on the fire budget?
Oh, come on.
You are.
it's like-
Well, ask him something.
Yeah, can't run them off.
I didn't even know it was over there.
No, it's,
Yeah.
you can't make it complicated.
The only thing we didn't account for in there is on the building side for outfitting a new member.
We did somewhere.
I know we talked about it, but I didn't see it in the.
Yeah,
operating side.
so we included it in the capital item for bunker gear and personal protective equipment. We add an extra $3,500 to that. Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah, it's a good, very good point. You
We took
pointed
it-
that out to me and, yeah,
Didn't realize it.
Okay. Doug, anything to say?
Why?
Fair enough. Storm we addressed, right?
Yeah,
Always a man of so few words.
The other thing I will say that there's been a lot of changes, with change coming in. For operating capital and things have been changing and we're not in the loop enough that we have, that's gotta be sorted out for the future. That'll be beneficial because there's a lot of confusion right now, just in trying to look at the counts and. It's extremely important that once this is all done, because there's some confusion, no different whether it's the new uniform stuff or whatever, but just something more clear and also moving forward with this for the firefighters. If you get that completed, it'd be great too.
Yeah, Jim has mentioned more than once about having a post-budget debrief where we look at what we need to change, both from today's process and the process you went through to develop it, and then, so
Yeah,
that we will be moving ahead with that.
then coming out of that could be a suggestion for group training,
Mhm.
as you say, it's like.
Okay, so we would be at some new business here. And one thing I wanted to bring up is
Did we finish this?
Yep.
7?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
yeah, that's the thing we did
Yeah,
first.
okay.
so we had how much in capital?
135,909.
So I know a lot of us received an email with a proposal for a community parking lot on St. Clair Street. Mike was gonna get some quotes as far as I know. Do we have a ballpark number?
Challenge with, so I've spoken to Jay, there's a number of factors to be complete on.
Come on up. Heather, Ray and Janice, they could.
Oh,
Go ahead.
So there are a number of considerations to be done with that space. One is the underground services that are currently in that location. Two would be the electrical requirements for all new lighting posts to be able to properly light that space. Three, the consideration of the traffic, large scale pieces of equipment that roll in on the west side of the parking lot. Four would be we would need to do some geotechnical work to be able to find the foundational base that's in there, and then we would also need some architectural or engineering drawings to be completed. I've spoken to the engineers, got some estimates on what it would take to cover that space, but not considering the grading, not considering what would be necessary for all the underground work and all the above work. So to be able to put a number on it, I don't have that currently. I will continue to look for that number if that is the direction of council.
So, okay, any questions?
just one other question related to that, because we had talked about potential for mat tax. Coming in today, I heard that there was some extra mat tax.
Yeah, there's about 290,000.
Yeah.
In a
Okay.
mat tax reserve
Yeah,
and a
so-
undirected mat tax
Right.
reserve.
And we have this 130,000 of capital.
I just wanted to bring that up, because I thought it could fit that.
So, I guess we said keep in mind, I think there's an appetite to see it happen at the majority of the council level.
I can't support it.
Yeah, it's 4 to 5, that's majority. The lighting can be solar, can it not?
I will look into it, but the lighting that's gonna be required for that is, will have to be high intensity, just because of being it's a municipal parking lot, we'll be responsible for all insurance and all, security within that. I would not want to, go with something that is less, lumens that would be required. Solar lighting, I don't know of any options, that we get to support that at that level.
And and it's a low use lot is as proposed. you know, I don't think we need big curbs and like that. It would just be a flat piece of asphalt, right? Like with grading and a base, right?
I defer more to an engineer.
Yeah.
In regards to that, from all municipal parking lots that I'm aware of, there's very specific curbing that would be required, because there would still be some maintenance of grounds around that space. For that, but I will certainly look into that.
Can I just ask a question?
Yep.
Like, this is, I know that when I see the email for fire department, police, library, is that correct? No.
No,
Oh, is this something different?
This
this
is,
is beside the
Public
works
Works.
department.
Oh, okay, sorry, okay.
Between Public
All right,
Works and the
okay,
Bell building.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
gotcha.
Okay, so. So we can't allocate money, we can't vote on it. How do we want to bring a report? Michael, bring a report back in the first quarter,
Make recommendation.
make a recommendation and a ballpark number.
Mm.
You don't have to drill so far down, like just. Is it a 50,000 or 200,000, right?
I would guess from the information I know, it's closer to the second number, definitely, and it will depend on the number of spaces that we're looking at. Considering the location.
Yeah.
We've kind of mapped it out, just to identify what it would look like according to, just very rough, how many spaces you could put in it. And then how the traffic egress would come in and out of that space. It is far more expensive than you would give
It's
it
a,
credit for. Initially, just by looking at it, you'd think it wouldn't be that much.
it's a shame we can't infringe on the Bell driveway. On the other side, because there's a cut in the driveway for the exit, right, in your driveway, out on the Bell driveway, but it is Bell's property, so they probably have concerns with that, but that would give you the. You know,
Yeah.
the loop around, like the one-way part of it, but in Bell may be open to that, like, because that, there's no traffic in and out of that,
I
their
never seen
facility,
that.
yeah,
Jay wants to say
so
something.
Jay, go ahead.
Just as a consideration, depending on the size of this parking lot, probably gonna be replacing St. Clair Street up again. Tying in the storm, the drainage,
Wasn't there a storm drain already there?
depending on the size of the parking lot, that storm drain and all the engineering that went into it would have been. I'm assuming considered as permeable ground,
Right.
so like putting in a asphalt parking lot. All of that water is gonna have to get away, or again, that was flooded parking lot. And if you require a larger pipe, that's gonna require getting St. Clair Street back up. Well, just to.
Now, could we also, I know they make the permeable parking lots, you know, where you have the. As an option,
But again, I can speak to the engineer and see
Okay.
what.
Yeah, like if you-
see if there's.
it's ways to do it without having to dig up St. Clair,
Yeah.
like through it, even if there's a. Grass strips or something like that, I don't know, but
We can certainly get some more information.
Okay.
I think. It is going to be more expensive than you think.
Oh,
it'll
no.
be. It doesn't, like,
it's
As it always is.
municipal way.
um,
Okay, so when would you, like, so it'll come to which, where we bring it to a committee, finance? Or operations,
I would
or-
think operations.
I can bring it to operations and just have a copy. of-
Like in February, maybe?
I will hope, I will aim for the February meeting. yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
So we have. I'm assuming, Jane, you're gonna need a little bit of time to process some things for the operating budget.
We just need a clarification on the changes we made and the numbers right now, we just need to make sure we didn't miss anything,
Mhm.
so let me just kind of,
We want to take a 10-minute break while you two confer, and then, but then you don't get a break, but,
We're used to that.
okay. And then we'll reconvene and have some
the plan.
final numbers.
Okay, so I'm just gonna turn the microphone off again.
Yeah.
So as far as the budget goes,
Oh, well, I don't know.
There's something wrong there.
Well, it's good to see Jason laughing.
Right. He's laughing at me.
Oh, no, I was thinking
Um,
like,
No, I've done some research in regards to that parking lot. A couple of things that we I want to look at is municipal insurance.
Yeah.
Because of the issue that, also putting some reserves away for maintenance. So there'll be some full high maintenance, and it depends on the certain permanent insurance. So there's an opportunity to look along those lines. I don't know how many spots we're looking at doing. I think when I did the initial, you could go 20 or 25 spots in that space was still having enough turning radius.
yeah,
I don't think meetings that big.
I don't think
I
you
think
might.
10 to
15.
10 to 15 would be more than enough. It's just overflow.
I know, Jordy,
Transient,
he's
yes.
been in my office
Yeah.
often about it. So and I'm not opposed to the idea. I know that I do have concerns about transit of our
Yeah.
people, our trucks and everything going into
Yeah.
that. We do leave the gate open every now and then. I'm
Yeah.
concerned about people driving it. So I mean, there's signage and all the
Yeah, I-
details that would be there, but I mean, I'll look at it and put some
No.
report together and find out, but.
Like it's Crosswords, it's the gym, it's the bar,
Yeah.
Like, were you copied
it's
on
the
the
brewery.
emails, the majority and the other?
I got a copy. Oh, I received a copy. Yes, I did, yeah.
Tim keeps mentioning Jordy, but it's beyond
Yes.
Jordy.
Mhm.
I was wondering-
Oh, yeah, no, it's that whole, I mean, one of the reasons we did all the lighting down there, just to support that community down in that.
Exactly.
I get that. I know, I totally understand.
Well, we took away a lot of street parking,
Yeah.
right? Like, so, and like this, Tim says, the street parking not guaranteed.
Mhm.
But when they all open their businesses, they were street parking,
Mhm.
right?
No, absolutely.
10 years in, we said, okay, we're taking away 50.
Hang on, guys.
Have we been live? Talking?
It's Derek sent me a message, said it is. I did the same thing I did before.
Well, we didn't say anything real bad.
Oh, no, not at all.
There's no audio there.
Well,
Unless it's the
they
room
just
one,
turned the button off.
unless it's the room one. Oh, check, 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 check.
Well, we didn't say
I
anything.
wonder
real
if it's the-
bad.
There's nothing. There was nothing. I just
Well, I turned
more
this
of
button
details
off
of
now.
Rough Garden, that's all.
And say,
Good now.
goddamn Jordy, you said, isn't all.
It's now.
Now.
You did now.
You told me it's off.
I
No,
think it
but
is,
yeah,
but
no, it's-
that's what
Like I say, I'll run those things. Just, I don't have a risk
Yeah.
analysis I wanna look at. Just-
Okay,
just
yeah.
to- Just so we understand what we're.
No, I
involved in.
totally get it. I
Yeah.
know, but it's,
I have a
um,
question though regarding this, is any of that considered
Yes.
our plan?
South of Knox.
What is that?
So,
Because we've written a lot of stuff into our official plan that we do with Niagara.
yeah, I don't think we ever did anything.
Or I was just wondering, I was also wondering about any of architect or archaeological. Like, I know we put stuff on top, but
Blabbing down.
yeah, I just.
No, but that's what we.
Is
did
that off?
wherever we
Please tell me
put-
that's off.
Whenever we put a shovel in the ground, that's the way.
Well, that's my concern. That's absolutely my concern.
The thing about that with the map.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially in the
Well,
bridge.
so when I was looking at it, if I'm going to do that, it's gonna be direct, like it pulls right up and we put something down in that exact.
Work
same
on that
space.
with you on it.
Maybe it's plastic bat.
Even planting trees,
No,
or
no,
always say over the years, we've had, oh, well, they did, yeah.
That's right.
Now, they were doing a dig on,
Victoria,
Victoria
yeah, they were
Street,
doing
you
it, they were doing the pits to find out, cause that's where the next run for Bridge is gonna be coming down there. So it's just, they were doing the level 3 now. I
We
was
saw the bridge guys and everything, and they had, that's an awesome job.
It's- yeah.
And it takes 10 people to stand there and watch one person
It's funny
scream.
because I walked out there, Jim had said, he said, there's some people down there, can you go to that? So I went and just had a conversation with them. And they're, like I say, there's 2 people doing this, there's a couple people in the holes, there's still 4 people around.
Passenger van,
Yeah.
pull up, and
Yes.
all these people can
Fall out of it.
And I don't, I kind of want to ask.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Hey, I got a kid who's like 17 years old, he's looking for a career down the road and.
Yes.
Wow.
Have you seen all the vehicles that the Belmore, do, like a construction truck and like heavy equipment?
Yeah.
Last night, Shelley had mentioned it to me, I drove by and I pulled in the parking lot, and they were all staring at me, so I was gonna get out and say, what are you doing?
so right now.
Because they're all looking at me and then I just got started.
Yeah, I know.
Because we have permission to use it for Christmas in the Village,
Okay.
but it was a whole fleet of vehicles. But the men were all standing around in a circle. He's doing something.
Right, no questions.
Yeah.
I can always stick my hand up.
Well,
to
yeah,
have
I
a
mean,
conversation.
it was interesting.
Yeah,
right?
okay, well, that's.
So how are we dealing with some money from
But one was a construction truck, and I didn't recognize the construction name on it, like it wasn't old. Oh, this is serious.
So we're gonna lower the revenue.
She did get permission from the owners to use it.
Yeah, no, that's correct.
Yeah.
And we have another washroom coming down for that as well.
They're like, who's using, where did all that stuff come from?
Yeah.
I'm sitting like, "What's that?" I drove away and she stared at me. What is that?
Yeah.
God, you had a lot of muffins. I guess I didn't need to bring muffins.
Yeah. A lot to take home. This is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. Oh, goodness.
So you're bringing, you're bringing the reports to one finance committee?
No.
Which? Yeah. I said that first. What? Oh, did I? Oh, I was even reading it, okay. The finance committee meeting in February. Oh.
And then, but I will submit it to make sure that everybody has a copy. That everybody's kind of the same.
You eliminate that.
Oh, I love it.
They're both
That's
really good.
It really gets me.
Well,
But my grandkids love this one.
it's a nice soft spot.
Yeah. I buy it all the time, but I try not to, because I have my sisters use crackers.
But those are rice crackers, do those count?
Those are the,
I know, I think they're like, no calories.
Yes.
yeah, well, that is.
Did you have the cheddar one? I feel like I got a little thing.
Oh, say, well, a little jalapeno on the back end.
Yeah.
It's
Pardon?
Yes.
Right now?
68.
How you on the 60?
Here, it's just said that. Still off.
Okay, so give us the final numbers.
Yeah.
Okay,
Should have or should?
so we've gone,
Bring your mic.
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know. Um. So we've gone from 4.86 to 5.02. And that's based on a couple of increases to expenses, one in the police service board wages and one at the telephone at the police detachment. We still have the issue of the 138,909. That is in the capital budgets. We cut 138,909 out of the capital and reserve budget. So we need to decide what to do with that money, if we're gonna put it into a specific reserve. You know, there's different options there that can be done, so.
I want to move it
You wanna move it?
to affect the tax rate. To bring it below 5.
So.
Or some or all.
1% is 32,000, right? So 35,909, I mean, transfer that 35,909 into operating and put the $100,000 into. There's any number of reserves we can put that into.
This is-
There's some discussion about the storm
Yeah,
sewers, that there's projects there that we've
or I think
not
just,
funded for a
I think
while.
just into the contingency reserve would be generic. It
Yeah.
can be moved if we need to.
So 135,909, if we bring 35,909 into operating, that's gonna bring us down to about 4, a little bit below 4.
And that, but that bumps up,
38,909, sorry.
but that bumps up that 155, right?
Yes, it basically, it. Yeah.
$3.81%.
Yeah.
So that reduced $38,909.
And then we put $100,000 into the contingency reserve. And that can either be used, if it's stormwater based or whatever, it's there. Okay, so. So the motion is to approve the budget as amended multiple times. And with there being an increase of 3.81% to the village of whatever budget, 7.2
2 for water, 7.5.
and 9.40 for sewage, and a 71 cent per cubic meter increase to reserves.
Reserve is 50%.
Yeah, 50.
Yeah, 71 cents.
Okay, so is everyone clear on what we're approving then? This also it captures the stormwater fees, the environmental services headcount, finalizes the payment for the fire truck, amongst other things. Sets us up nicely with some legacy projects or planning for those for the 2028. Gets us money for 2028. Any other highlights?
If we didn't have that money right now to do that move to bring down the rate, I was going to suggest adjustment to the casino transfer, but knowing that we went a lot lower, but we don't have to do that now.
Well, we sort of are, because this is part of it. This will increase the casino transfer,
It
right?
does?
Basically, yes,
Basically,
like
yeah.
it's.
It goes into that
So,
line item.
yeah, what we, in the past, we've always done a direct transfer,
Right.
375 from casino to
Right.
operating.
Right,
Now we go 375 to the contingency reserve. And then we pull money out of the contingency reserve. So indirectly, it's doing the same thing.
okay,
Yeah.
but not to a great degree.
Right.
No.
It's
Because we are putting that
almost
100
half
grand.
of what it was last year.
Right.
Yeah, we are putting that
Yeah.
100 grand back. in.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so who wants to move that?
I'll move that.
Councillor Mondu, seconder. Councillor Burgess, thank you. And all in favor?
So we have a confirmation bylaw and adjournment.
Mayor Hand, you want to take over the?
Lost my second page.
I'll do the
Just confirmation bylaw. That's right there.
Bylaw 27 2025 being a bylaw to confirm the resolutions of Point Everett Council, which were adopted up until including November 25th, 2025. They were read at first, second, and third time, and finally passed on this day, November 25th, 2025.
Second.
Thank you. Move for adjournment. Oh, sorry, all in favor,
Of adjournment?
and then move to adjournment.
Sure.
All in here.
Okay.
All in favor of adjournments? You sure?
Next meeting is Tuesday, December 2nd, correct?